Hey there everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Rama, and in today's video, I'll be breaking into the 8 best personal aircraft that you can own in Grand Theft Auto Online. I'm not going to do them in order or anything like that. I'm just going to be listing the differences between these aircraft, why they are each absolutely amazing, what they can do, and yeah, that's about it. And then you can let me know in the comments down below which of these aircraft is your favorite. I'll obviously let you know which of the bunch are my favorite, but I think all of them are really capable, and it depends on what you're personally looking for. So let's start off with the Akula. This is probably one of the best helicopters just in the game for versatility. First of all, the Akula features missiles, and these are homing missiles that you can just spam over and over and over. This is really nice. It means if anybody's causing you trouble, you can obviously spam these missiles and people aren't going to cause too much trouble anymore. Also, you'll notice that I can hide the weapons, and what that does is it puts us into stealth mode. This is the first vehicle in the game that had stealth mode, and essentially what that means is that nobody can see me on the radar when I'm using stealth mode on this helicopter. It's really, really nice. So you can instantly just pull your weapons out, start shooting missiles at whatever you want, and then go back into stealth mode. Nobody can see you. Now, something I should point out that a lot of people don't know is that if you go back in the stealth mode, but somebody still sees your helicopter, they can still shoot it with homing missiles. It does not take away the tracking capabilities of the missiles. It only makes you invisible to the radar, so that's something you should keep in mind. Other than the missiles, the Akula features a pretty basic machine gun. I mean, it's alright, it does some decent damage, but I can't really recommend it. What the heck? Okay, that's just crazy, Rockstar. That's crazy. Either way, the Akula is a pretty cool helicopter. The stealth mode allows it to very easily get in and out of trouble, and the fact that it has missiles is quite nice. The actual capabilities of the helicopter, apart from the stealth mode, aren't anything crazy, but it is a very nice thing going for it. Up next, we have the Rogue. This is by far one of the best budget planes you can buy in the game. Now, don't get confused. When people hear the word budget, they usually think that it's bad or it's worse than other things around it that cost more. However, that is not actually the case at all when it comes to the Rogue. For example, the Rogue is incredibly fast. In fact, it is the second fastest flying aircraft in all of Grand Theft Auto Online. The only one beating it out is the F-160 Raiju. So that alone is great. As you saw, it features flares. So if anybody is trying to hit you with homing missiles, they are not going to be able to take you out of the sky. It's actually going to be very hard. And even if they do hit a homing missile, the Rogue can survive 2 explosions, the third one just basically disabling it, and then the fourth one will blow you up. It features homing missiles, and better yet, it also has an explosive machine gun. And I actually really like the mounting of the explosive machine gun. It's wing mounted, as you can see. Now, this creates advantages and disadvantages. The advantage is that the bullets are more spread out. So if you're shooting at somebody in a dogfight or you're shooting at ground targets, it can be really easy just to hit them with a burst of bullets and blow them up. The downside is the fact that it can also be harder to hit precise shots if you're trying to hit somebody directly on a small target. So it's better for scattering and better for just kind of like a bombing run. Speaking of bombing runs, the Rogue features bombs, which is another crazy capability. You can see there, we just dropped a bunch of bombs underneath the Rogue. So when it comes to capabilities, this aircraft features just about everything you'd want. It has bombs, flares, survivability, and it's incredibly fast with missiles and an explosive machine gun. And it all comes in at the price tag of $1.1 million. Heck, it's even a 2-seater. So the Rogue, while it is one of the cheapest aircraft in the game, is by far one of the best aircraft as well, and I would highly recommend to pick it up if you don't own one. Speaking of dangerous explosive machine guns, we arrive to the Savage. Now, this helicopter has 2 really nice things going for it. First of all, it has homing missiles. And just like the B-11 Strike Force, these missiles will continuously fire over and over and over. This was actually the first aircraft in the game that featured this capability, and it still today makes it very dangerous. Unfortunately, you do not feature flares on the Savage. One nice thing is that it can survive 1 explosion, which means if a helicopter does hit you with a homing missile or somebody shoots you with an explosive sniper, you will have enough time to react and jump out before it inevitably does blow up. The major reason why the Savage is in today's list is because it features the most dangerous weapon in the game, and it is the explosive machine gun of doom. We can see that this explosive machine gun is a little bit different than the other ones in the list, because you'll notice that, well, yeah, it just instantly blows up. It's also the same explosion capabilities as a sticky bomb. Essentially, I'm throwing like 8 million sticky bombs at my opponents here, and you can see it instantly blows up anything it touches. This makes the Savage incredibly dangerous. I did not think we were going to hit those palm trees, but yeah, it makes the Savage so dangerous. I mean, look at how easy it is to blow up cars on the road. So, while the Savage isn't the best at dealing with, I would say, oppressors or even jets, because at the end of the day, you are quite a slow helicopter, and jets with their much better maneuverability are probably going to be able to take you out just with a homing missile or two. But if you are able to hit people on the ground, you're going to instantly blow them up. Even Insurgent pickup customs and things that can survive upwards of 20 explosives before being blown up have no chance against the Savage. Up next, we arrive at the F-160 Raiju. Let's be real, everybody knew this was going to make the list, and it's a pretty easy explanation why. The F-160 Raiju has a hover mode, meaning that you can very easily use the explosive machine gun, albeit not nearly as good as the Savages, but you can still use it like a helicopter and shoot at ground targets very easily. Not only that, but you have missiles, and they're not the great missiles that you can just spam over and over, but you still do feature homing missiles, which is quite nice. The best thing about the F-160 Raiju is the fact that it is incredibly fast. Do you see how we are almost outrunning the homing missiles we have fired? It is actually insane. This jet can fly at 230 miles per hour, making it the fastest flying thing in the entire game. And the final capability that allows the Raiju to be so nice is the fact that you can put it into stealth mode, hiding the weapons and making it invisible to radar. I should also mention that this jet can survive 3 explosions, which is pretty impressive actually. So yeah, the Raiju has basically everything going for it that you'd want when it comes to a jet. To be fair, it also has some downsides, like the price tag. It is the most expensive vehicle here by quite a lot. Not only is it very expensive, but it has very little customization, which makes it a bit lackluster, I'm going to be completely honest. But in terms of overall capabilities, it is a fantastic jet, and it will greatly help you on getting the job done. However, I actually believe this next aircraft is a lot better than the Raiju, being the Avenger. Why is the Avenger so good? Well, first of all, it can survive 20 missiles before being blown up. That is an insane amount. This is basically like an Amani Tech vehicle just in the sky. So as we can see, just like the Raiju, this VTOL Osprey is able to take her right off in the air, and then you just swap it over to plane mode, and just like that, we are on our merry way. Now, the reason this aircraft is so nice is because Rockstar finally added missiles to it. It took them so long. But as you can see, we have carpet bombs, and you also have the ability to fire homing missiles, which is so nice. I don't know why it took Rockstar so long to add the missiles to it, but yes, it features homing missiles and a machine gun that you can use on this aircraft, which is incredibly dangerous. And when you pair that with the fact that it can survive 20 missiles and it can hover, there's not really much surprise on why this is such a good pickup. Really, the only downside of the Avenger is just how big it is. It's a very large vehicle, but that's not too much of a problem. It flies pretty fast, and it's very easy to control, so it's definitely a pickup I would recommend to get your hands on. We're almost done with today's list, and we got 2 very well-known vehicles left, being the Sparrow and the Oppressor Mark II. Both of these kind of tick the same category where they're more ease of access. You see, the problem I have with the majority of flying vehicles available in Grand Theft Auto Online is to call them, you have to go to service and vehicles, or no, it's manage vehicles, then you can scroll through all of your vehicles here and your aircraft. And the problem is, when you call in an aircraft, let's say you're somewhere like over here, your aircraft's going to spawn maybe over at Sandy Shores, or it'll spawn at this area. And it's kind of annoying to have to constantly call in the aircraft and make your way over there. Plus, if it gets blown up, you have to wait to call it back in. You have to call MMI. It's just a very irritating thing. So personally, I still like the Oppressor Mark II and the Sparrow the most when it comes to calling in flying vehicles, just because they are so much faster. The Oppressor features a pretty dangerous capability. You can spam homing missiles. The only downside is that, unlike most aircraft, these are not spammable. Like, once you run out of missiles, you're out. You have to recall your Oppressor Oppressor Mark II back in, which is kind of annoying, I'm not gonna lie. But the Oppressor does feature flares, albeit a 15-second cooldown before you can launch them again, but it still features flares. So the Oppressor does have pretty nice capabilities. It's also a rocket boost, and it is by far the smallest vehicle in the list, meaning that you can get in and out of trouble very, very easily. It's also fairly fast flying vehicle. You can see we go 130 miles per hour. It's by far the slowest in the list, but it's still pretty quick in terms of flying capabilities. And yeah, it's just a great little bike to get the job done. So the Oppressor Mark II, as much as I hate going up against griefers that use it, is still a really good shout. And then we arrive to my favorite of the entire list, being the Sparrow. Every video I make usually incorporates the Sparrow, whether I'm using it to grind or I'm using it to make it from point A to point B. It's just so good. The Sparrow features homing missiles, and these are homing missiles that you can spam over and over and over with no limits. Not only does it feature homing missiles, but it also features flares. And unlike the Oppressor, you can spam these flares over and over as well. The Sparrow is instantly able to land on your office building if somebody's chasing you. You can instantly land it in your Kosatka, making missions and setups much easier. Plus, you can call it in whenever you want, wherever you are, and there's no respawn price. If it gets blown up, you just have to wait a simple 2 minutes to get it back. Pair that in the fact that it's only 1.7 million to get this helicopter, which is quite a bit cheaper than a lot of the other flying vehicles in the game, and the Sparrow is an easy S tier. So this is my list of the best aircraft to get in Grand Theft Auto Online. I think all of these serve different purposes, but are equally good if you are looking for different goals to achieve. If you want stealth, the Akula and the Raiju are definitely the way to go. But if you're a solo grinder like me, and you're really only hopping on to do some quick sourcing back and forth, then the Sparrow or the Oppressor Mark II are the way to go. If you're a newer player and you're looking for a budget buy, the Rogue is by far the best option out of everything there, as it is the cheapest. And if you're looking just for the most dangerous weapons, you can go for vehicles like the Savage or the B-11 Strike Force. If you want speed, then you can go for the Rogue. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and if you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.